Hello beautiful Libra soul. This Wednesday, September 3rd, a secret surprise is coming and it has your name written all over it. If you've been feeling like something is quietly shifting in your spirit, like a soft knock on the door of your intuition, you're not imagining it. That feeling? That pull? That's destiny getting ready to speak directly to you. And I want you to know this, you didn't find this video. It found you. This is not just another midweek reading. This is a divine alignment, a moment carved in cosmic stone, where spiritual timing meets your personal readiness. This is the kind of Wednesday where the universe doesn't whisper, it opens a hidden door and waits for you to step in. Now, Libra, I know you've been balancing a lot lately. You carry other people's energy with so much grace that sometimes you forget how long you've been waiting for a breakthrough of your own. But the wait is over. This Wednesday is not ordinary, it is a sacred turning point in your journey. You may have thought of Wednesday as the middle of the week, neither beginning nor end. But spiritually, Wednesday is a bridge day. And this particular September 3rd is a bridge between the world you've endured and the life that's waiting for you. A shift is coming. You're about to be recognized for what only heaven has seen in private. So let me ask you, Libra. What if everything you've been through was preparing you to receive something better than you imagined? What if this isn't just another day on the calendar, but a divine assignment? Because it is. And if you're still here, it's because your soul already knows that. Imagine a door vibrating in the unseen, waiting for the right frequency to open. That frequency is you. Your readiness. Your decision to believe. And today, you're being invited to lean in, to trust again, and to recognize that heaven is about to release what it has been storing just for you. If something in your heart is quietly nodding right now, if you're feeling goosebumps or tears you can't explain, honor that. Don't dismiss it. Don't scroll past it. This is confirmation. And I would love for you to mark this moment right now by commenting below, I'm ready, plus 888. That sacred number represents infinite flow, divine connection, and the unlocking of new chapters. When you write it, you're not just commenting, you're declaring it into the atmosphere. Libra, your presence here means more than you know. Let me take a moment to say thank you from the deepest part of my heart for showing up, for supporting this space, for trusting this message. Every like, every comment, every subscription helps grow the heart of this community and makes it possible for me to continue bringing transformative guidance through the channel. This reading is brought to you with love, clarity, and intention from Zodiac Whisper Tarot, and I promise you what the universe is preparing to reveal today is something you'll want to stay for until the very end. So take a breath. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Let's begin. Your breakthrough is already in motion. Sometimes, the turning point in our lives doesn't come with fanfare or dramatic change, it comes in the quiet middle of a week, on a day that seems ordinary on the surface but vibrates with hidden meaning. For Libra, this Wednesday, September 3rd, holds that exact kind of energy, a pivotal moment disguised in simplicity. As a sign that constantly dances between dualities, logic and feeling, harmony and justice, self and other, you know how delicate balance can be. But this day doesn't ask you to balance anything. It invites you to allow both halves of yourself to coexist, to be in peace with your desire and your duty, your dreams, and your discipline. From an astrological perspective, this day carries a subtle yet profound alignment. Venus, your ruling planet, the essence of beauty, affection, self-worth, and values forms a harmonious trine with Saturn, the planet of structure, maturity, and karmic responsibility. This aspect gently blends emotion with logic, vision with foundation, passion with patience. It's like being given permission to finally honor what your heart truly wants without feeling like you're abandoning your responsibilities. You're not being asked to choose anymore. You're being asked to receive. And there's something sacred in that shift. If you felt recently like you've been standing at the threshold of change, waiting for something to click, to feel real, to feel possible, this is the moment when that door begins to open. You may not walk through it all at once, but Wednesday is when the light starts to spill through the cracks. A conversation might land differently. An old wound might begin to feel less sharp. A realization might bring tears, not of pain, but of release. That's not coincidence. That's alignment. You're not being asked to chase this change. You're being asked to receive it with quiet courage. Spiritually speaking, many people think breakthroughs must look like fireworks, but the most powerful transformations often happen in the softest shifts, when we suddenly realize that peace is possible where chaos once ruled, that forgiveness can grow where resentment used to live, or that we no longer need to force anything to prove our worth. There is divine intelligence in simplicity, and this Wednesday offers a quiet chance to return to yourself, and let the outside world gently rearrange to match your internal clarity. For those who come from faith-based traditions or have ever turned to prayer in moments of need, you might know that the answers don't always come when we cry out the loudest. Sometimes, they arrive in the form of calm certainty, a stillness you can't explain, but you can feel. In modern life, with its noise and endless movement, we rarely pause to notice these moments. But this Wednesday is calling for a pause. It's asking you to breathe, to stop proving, to simply exist in alignment long enough to let grace catch up to you. And yes, grace is real. You don't need to earn it. You only need to recognize it when it arrives. If you've been praying for a sign, or asking for clarity, consider this your permission to stop striving and begin receiving. Healing doesn't always come as a grand act. Sometimes, it arrives like a flower blooming quietly after the rain, a sunrise you didn't expect after a sleepless night, or a message you needed at exactly the right moment. Don't be surprised if someone reaches out. Don't dismiss the idea that something you once thought was lost may find its way back to you in a different form. Libra, you don't have to be perfect to be worthy of new beginnings. You simply have to be open. And if anything in this moment resonates with the still, small voice inside you, say it. Say it aloud or whisper it within. And if you're called to, share it. Let this be a space where you affirm, I'm ready to receive what's meant for me, because when we speak truth into the atmosphere, the energy around us begins to shift. What you're standing in right now is not pressure, it's preparation. It's promise. It's the gentle unfolding of something that has been waiting to meet you. And now, it's here. Some moments are so quietly orchestrated that we don't even realize we've been walking toward them our entire lives. And Libra, what's approaching you this Wednesday isn't random. It's the unfolding of something deeply intentional, something that's been reserved, refined, and timed just for you. Maybe you've felt it lately, that subtle shift in the air, like a change coming before the sky breaks open. That's not your imagination. That's alignment. And it's closer than you think. The surprise that's on its way may not arrive in the form you expect. Often, Life's most powerful turning points don't announce themselves with flashing signs, they arrive quietly, wrapped in ordinary moments that only your soul recognizes as extraordinary. It could be a message from someone who vanished without explanation, a voice from the past returning just when you thought you'd closed that chapter. It might be a career door reopening after you gave up knocking. Or it could be a moment of piercing clarity, like suddenly realizing that you've outgrown the version of yourself you once settled for. What matters most isn't the shape the surprise takes, it's the meaning it brings. It's the knowing that what is arriving is not by accident, but by energetic return. You've planted seeds through seasons of uncertainty, seeds of faith, honesty, compassion, and inner growth. And as the law of attraction teaches us, energy doesn't vanish, it compounds. Everything you've poured out, even when no one was looking, has been gathering weight, ready to return as fruit. In the language of the tarot, we often see this moment of revelation embodied by the High Priestess. She holds the secrets behind the veil, the mysteries that only become visible when you are ready to see. This week, you may find yourself drawn to situations or conversations that feel strangely familiar, as if they're echoing something you once dreamed or deeply hoped for. That's the High Priestess at work, unveiling what has always been there, hidden not from you, but for you. And then comes Judgment, the card of awakening. This is the energy of rising from a version of yourself that no longer fits. It's when old patterns finally lose their grip, and you hear a calling that's impossible to ignore. Something inside of you says, this is the moment. Not a dream. Not a delay. Not a someday. Now. Paired with the wheel of fortune, this energy becomes movement. Sudden, divine, irreversible movement. You may not be able to trace the exact path ahead, but you'll know in your bones that the wheel has turned. That life is finally shifting in your favor. I've seen this moment unfold in the lives of others too, sometimes in quiet, breathtaking ways. I remember hearing a woman share how she'd prayed for months for a breakthrough, only to receive an unexpected call offering her the exact opportunity she once let go of. She wasn't striving when it arrived. She was simply open. And that openness made all the difference. Life has a way of returning to us what we've surrendered in grace, when we least expect it and most deserve it. You don't need to force anything to receive what is meant for you. The soil has been prepared. The timing is ripe. All you need to do is be present enough to recognize it when it shows up. So Libra, I'll ask you gently, what do you think this surprise might be? What would you welcome, if it came knocking on your door this week? Leave your intuition in the comments and write it as if it's already on its way. Add the number 888 to your message, the number of infinite flow, energetic cycles, and divine return. Let it be more than just a comment. Let it be your declaration. You're not just hoping anymore. You're receiving. Sometimes the most powerful days are the ones that feel quiet at first, like nothing unusual is happening on the surface, but under the current, everything is shifting. That's exactly the kind of energy September 3rd brings to you, Libra. After the quiet stirrings and the sacred invitation we've already explored, this moment asks you to pause and listen closely to the cosmic rhythm surrounding you. It's not loud. It's not chaotic. It's precise, purposeful, personal. This particular Wednesday carries the kind of astrological blueprint that gently turns the page in your life story. Venus, your ruling planet, is lighting up either your 5th or 9th house depending on your personal chart, and that creates two very specific possibilities. If Venus is in your 5th house, the focus is on love, joy, creative freedom, and expression from the heart. It's the house that governs how you fall in love with life again, whether through romance, art, play, or simply remembering what makes you feel alive. If Venus is instead influencing your 9th house, the calling is deeper. It's about purpose, expansion, spiritual truth, and your unique relationship with the greater meaning of life. In both cases, you're being shown that your voice matters. Your desires matter. Your path is sacred. Adding to this momentum, Mercury is slowing down and preparing to move direct again. When Mercury pauses like this, especially after a retrograde, it's like the pause between heartbeats. Conversations that were left unfinished may circle back. Miscommunications that once caused distance may now find clarity. What was silent or blocked may suddenly become accessible. Think of it as the universe pressing unmute on a connection that needed time to realign. When we look through the lens of numerology, the energy becomes even more revealing. September 3rd carries the vibration of both the number 3 and the number 9, each one deeply significant in your current phase of growth. 3 represents communication, creation, and rebirth. It's playful, expressive, and open-hearted. 9, by contrast, carries the wisdom of endings. It speaks to letting go, completion, and the birth of inner clarity after walking through emotional cycles. Together, 3 and 9 invite you to let something close with peace and joy, so something better can begin, something with more of your voice in it, more of your truth, and less of what was borrowed from others' expectations. And if you add those two numbers together, 3 and 9, you get 12, which breaks down again into 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. So once more, the theme of voice, creativity, and new beginnings through expression is emphasized. This is not the time to hold back what you feel. This is not the week to suppress your insight or silence your desires. The energetic math of the cosmos is showing you that it's through your words, your vision, and your honesty that the door will open. Color can support this work, too. If you feel energetically sensitive on September 3rd, consider wearing soft pink or sapphire blue. These two colors speak to the soul of Libra. Pink softens and opens the heart. It reminds you to be kind to yourself as you speak your truth. Sapphire blue enhances clarity and calm. It strengthens your intuition, helping you stay anchored as change flows around you. Color is frequency, and frequency responds to intention. Now would be the perfect time to tune in. Try this simple reflection. Take your date of birth, add the numbers of the day 3 and the month 9 and see what number you get. Don't overanalyze it. Just feel what it evokes in you. Is it familiar? Is it new? Let it be a mirror. Let it guide you. And if you feel comfortable, share your number in the comments. Sometimes one person's insight becomes another's confirmation. In all of this, Libra, you're not being pushed. You're being gently pulled forward through grace, through clarity, and through your own inner knowing. This Wednesday is not random. It's designed. You've been prepared for it. Now all that's left is for you to step into the energy already rising in your life. One moment of courage. One conversation from the heart. One choice to move with trust, and this entire week could unfold in ways you never saw coming. Even when we're not actively seeking healing, there are moments when healing gently finds us. Not because we're broken, but because we've been carrying too much for too long. Libra, the energy surrounding this Wednesday doesn't demand that you do more, it invites you to be more present with what's already unfolding within you. You've walked through long seasons of silence, of second-guessing, of wondering whether your effort, your kindness, your intuition were truly seen. And the truth is, they were. Not just by others, but by the current of life itself. That's why now, without needing to prove anything, you're being handed the key to something new. You are the gatekeeper of your own transformation. Not everything outside of you needs to change for your life to shift. Sometimes, it's your breath, your focus, your clarity that begins the motion. Just imagine, if this entire week is a doorway, then this Wednesday is the moment your hand finds the key. Not because someone else placed it there, but because you were finally ready to recognize that it was in your hand all along. When we talk about transformation, we often think of massive change. But in reality, transformation usually begins with small, intentional actions, ones that reconnect us to ourselves in the middle of life's noise. You don't need an overhaul to feel aligned. What you need is a gentle reset, a recentering. That could be as simple as practicing a 4-4-4-4 breathing technique. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and rest for 4. Repeat it several times in stillness. It may seem small, but this act speaks loudly to your nervous system, calming the storms before they become overwhelming. For your financial life, I invite you to view it not with pressure, but with vision. You don't have to wait for a new job, a raise, or a miracle to get organized. Sit down and write a 3-month plan. Not rigid numbers, but intentional flow: what you need, what you value, and what you want to create space for. It's a spiritual act, too, because choosing clarity over chaos is a form of respect for your future self. In matters of love, Libra, no one needs to remind you of your capacity to care. But what if love, this time, didn't mean sacrifice? What if it meant softness, joy, shared responsibility, and mutual rising? Let your heart open again, not because the past didn't hurt, but because the past doesn't get to decide how love enters your life next. Opening your heart isn't about becoming vulnerable to pain. It's about creating space where genuine connection can safely land. If your work feels stagnant or unfulfilling, don't rush to change everything. Just tune in. What have you been ignoring? What part of you needs more room to breathe? Sometimes, we feel lost not because we're in the wrong place, but because we've muted the voice inside us that once led with fire. This week, even 5 minutes of listening inward can reconnect you to what matters. One of the most beautiful practices you can begin today is the energy exercise of writing your intention and anchoring it with the number 888. This number carries the frequency of abundance, infinite flow, and divine return. Don't just write a wish, write a direction, a tone, a declaration of readiness. Leave it in the comments, not just for yourself, but to activate the collective energy in this space. Your voice matters. What you set in motion today may ripple far beyond what you can see. And if you felt the timing of life shifting, if time feels like it's speeding up or slowing down in unfamiliar ways, you're not imagining it. The rhythm is changing because you're changing. This is the moment to match that rhythm with intention. So if anything inside you is stirring something quiet but undeniable, speak it. Write it. Let it be known. Because the act of expression is itself an opening. And openings lead to everything. There comes a moment, often unexpected, when the noise inside quiets, and the world feels like it's holding its breath. For you, Libra, that moment may arrive this Wednesday, September 3rd. It won't shout or demand your attention. It may last only a second. But in that second, something inside you will pause. And you'll know. Today isn't like every other day. That feeling, that inner stillness, is what we often call spiritual movement, not because something outside has shifted, but because you have. It's that soft but certain awareness that you're no longer waiting for change, you're ready for it. And sometimes, that's all it takes for everything to begin shifting around you. Not because the world suddenly transformed, but because the way you see it did. That's the real beginning. The inner yes. There's a kind of power that lives in subtle realizations. One thought, one quiet knowing, one breath where clarity enters and suddenly the atmosphere around you feels different. It's like dropping a small stone into a still lake. The impact may look gentle, but the ripples reach farther than you can see. And just like that lake, your internal world reflects a greater light. When the ripples move through you, they move through everything your life touches. I once heard a story about a woman who had been struggling in silence for months. She'd prayed, journaled, hoped, and waited, but nothing seemed to change. That Wednesday morning, for no particular reason, she felt an urge to step outside earlier than usual. The air was cooler. The sky a little softer. And without knowing why, she whispered, "Show me what I've been missing." Later that day, a phone call came, an offer that not only changed her path but affirmed everything she had nearly given up on. And she told me, "I almost missed it. But something in me listened." That's how turning points arrive. Not always with fireworks. Sometimes in whispers. You don't need a perfect plan to feel aligned. You don't need a perfect version of yourself to receive what's meant for you. You just need to be present enough to recognize the moment when something inside you says, "Yes. This is it." That moment of resonance, that hate's not a random flicker of insight. It's the universe confirming your readiness. The truth is, we often wait for big changes to validate our decisions. But the most important shifts begin when we give ourselves permission to move forward internally, emotionally, spiritually. Once you decide to stop rehearsing the old story, life begins offering you a new one. And Libra, this Wednesday may be the page where that new chapter starts. This is your invitation to notice what's unfolding in the subtle. To trust the internal signals more than the external noise. To believe in the gentle nudges that don't always make logical sense, but feel deeply right. So ask yourself honestly, have you ever had a moment like that? A second where everything clicked, and you just knew what to do, or what not to return to? If you have, share it. Let your words be a light for someone else navigating their own quiet turning point. And if you haven't had that moment yet, maybe it's waiting for you right now. Maybe today is the day it happens. Write what you feel. Claim what's calling you. Let your voice be part of this collective recognition. We're not here to push each other into transformation. We're here to remind each other that the moment of recognition, the sacred shift, is already within us. And when it moves, everything moves. And so, Libra, if you've made it to this point in the video, take a deep breath. Let it settle in your chest. Feel the soft truth of it, you are not here by chance. You didn't land on this message randomly. And this Wednesday isn't just a passing day on the calendar. Everything you've heard, everything you've felt stirring within you, it's part of a divine rhythm that's been playing beneath the surface of your life, waiting for you to recognize it. You've walked through seasons of silence, uncertainty, and resilience. And now, it's time for the response. This is the moment when the universe whispers back. We've moved through reflection, through insight, and into the power of action. From inner recognition to outer alignment. You've learned not just how to listen but how to respond from a place of readiness, not fear. And now the question remains, what will you do with this energy you've received? Will you honor it by choosing one small act of courage today? Will you speak your truth, open your heart again, or give yourself permission to believe in something better? You don't have to change everything at once. You only have to take one honest step forward. One choice, one boundary, one declaration can begin the ripple. Remember, energy is not a concept, it's a movement. And movement begins with you. What if this week, you stopped asking for proof and started moving like you already have it? What if you spoke as if the door has already opened, and lived as if what you're hoping for is already yours? What if you treated this message not just as guidance but as confirmation? Libra, you are the one who's been chosen to receive this. You are the one who's been trusted with this moment. And no matter what anyone else has told you, your story is not late. It is right on time. Perhaps this is the moment when everything shifts, not because life changed, but because you did. So don't let this pass you by like a breeze you didn't stop to feel on your skin. Let it in. Let it shape the way you move through the next 24 hours. Let it color your words, soften your expectations, and elevate your faith. And if your heart is nodding in agreement, if you feel even the faintest spark of truth in what you've just heard, then I invite you now to anchor it. Drop into the comments and leave a message that declares your readiness. Type the number 888 alongside your affirmation, your intention, or even a single word that reflects where you are in your journey. That number isn't just symbolic, it's energetic. It represents the infinite flow of blessings, the divine exchange that happens when you give yourself permission to receive. Tell me, what is it you're ready to receive this Wednesday? What are you willing to believe is possible now? What fear are you willing to release so that grace can take its place? And finally, from my heart to yours, thank you. Thank you for showing up with openness, with presence, and with such deep willingness to be guided. Every like, every comment, and every subscription you offer here helps expand this circle of light and makes it possible for messages like these to find the people who need them most. This is more than a video. It's a meeting place for souls who are done pretending, done waiting, and ready to rise. So stay with that feeling. Carry it with you. You've been prepared for this. The gift you've been asking for. It's arriving. Maybe not wrapped in the way you imagined, but unmistakably yours. Libra, walk forward like someone who knows the page has turned. The chapter that's opening? It's not the ending. It's the beginning of a new current of blessing set in motion by the still, quiet yes that lives within you now. And I'll say it one more time because it's worth repeating, this gift was always meant for you. Until next time, stay aligned, stay open, and always stay ready. This is Zodiac Whisper Tarot, and I'm so honored to be walking this sacred space with you.